Selling your rental property too soon is one of the biggest mistakes that you can make. Real estate is one of the few investments where time is your greatest ally. As property values and rents increase, the longer you hold, the more you stand to gain. So why give up that future wealth for a quick little payout right now? I'm looking at a Forbes article here that's talking about interest rates. And if the Fed does cut more aggressively than expected, maybe rates could even move lower. We already know that in the last few weeks, they've come down to the lowest they've been in the last 2 years. Forbes goes on to say, broadly speaking, the market's projecting that short-term interest rates will end 2024 at close to 4% and then be in the region of 3% in December 2025. So right now, if you have a home that you still have a mortgage on, it would be a probably good time to refinance, or maybe you want to wait, in the next several months, refinance. But why would you sell? You're probably going to get offers because as the rates come down, buyers are a little more aggressive, right? So they're talking to their lender saying, wait, last time I could only afford $400,000, but now I've done the math and now I can get $475,000. I'm going to go look for better houses. And as everybody's doing that, it's driving up demand and driving them to ask you, could you sell me your house? I could afford, I could buy it. I got the loan, I got the lender. So you need to say, no, thank you. Make sure that you have the right loan in place in the next year or so. It's going to be super important. If you are one of those people like me, some of our real estate we picked up in the last year that was a very high APR, it's a good time, right, to say, all right, cool, let's do this. Let's save a few hundred or even thousands of dollars by refinancing. For example, with our house that we bought earlier this year, it's probably at like 7.5% interest. So if I can refinance it later at 4%, then all of a sudden my payment goes from like $4,500 down to $3,500. Then I am still getting, no matter what, through my insurance midterm renting, I'm still getting about $9,800 a month for this same house. So what does that mean for me? It just means that after refinancing, I get to keep that extra $1,000 in my pocket. And that's not just one time, like when you sell and you get a one-time chunk, but that is every single month that is rented, right? And then over the course of years, what's going to happen to that house? It's going to go up in value, up in value, up in value. And in 30 years, there's no mortgage on it anymore. And it probably won't rent for $9,800 in those many years. It might rent for $12,000. So now instead of having to pay my tiny little $3,500 note, it's gone, paid off. And now I'm making $12,000 a month off of one house. So this is truly, guys, how real estate can change your life. Even just one house can change your life if you don't sell. I always talk to investors that say, I regret selling. Oh, I shouldn't have sold. Oh, it was too tempting, too many offers, too much excitement. So do not sell just because you're getting the offers. Yes, refinance if you have a rate that is higher than what you can get. Talk to your lender. If you're thinking about selling right now, reconsider. I will say there's only one caveat to that, and it would be if you have a house in an area that's not good for IMTR. So if you're trying to do this, if you're trying to employ this strategy, you're watching this video right now, and you have a home, let's say in downtown Las Vegas, you have a condo on the Strip, or you have a really cool house in downtown Atlanta where you can just walk to all the cool clubs. Okay, those are not going to be great IMTR homes. Why not? Because they're not in suburbs. They're not where families are. They're not where homeowners are. They're not where homeowners would want to relocate to should their home have flooded, get a fire, whatever. They are in more STR kind of vibe areas, cool, but they're not the primary target here for insurance midterm rentals, right? You want to think, where do the homeowners live? So if you have properties in these kind of other areas and they're not killing it in STR or LTR, you might want to consider now over the next year as interest rates come down and as people are on the prowl and prices are going up, you might want to consider selling it and reinvesting that cash into suburbs, into areas that are flooded with home buyers, homeowners, people. Like if you move into an area that has thousands of homes around you that are all owned by homeowners, what's the likelihood of one of those homes having a toilet leak or a pipe burst or all kinds of things that go wrong, that insurance has to relocate them into your house. So that is just one little tip that I would take into account if you wanted to sell. And also, obviously, nobody can time the market perfectly, like nobody knows, but I do think, and I'm personally doing this, is I'm still buying real estate right now. And the reason is even though I know the rates are coming down, same reason why I bought a house this year at 7.5%, I knew when the rates came down, I would refinance and it would all be fine. And as long as I knew rent that property out and make above and beyond the mortgage, which I did, then it was a no-brainer for us. So we looked at, it was actually, that particular home was an arbitrage. So we started out for years renting this home and then re-renting it. And so it's not always going to be this cut and dry, but for us, it was. When the owner said they wanted to sell, all we had to do was look at the last 3 years of income and realize we cannot let them sell this house to anybody but us because this house is such a winner. It makes so much money with IMTR. So even at 7.5%, it made sense to buy, but I'm super stoked that we get to refinance it now and we're going to make even more money on that house. So I would not be afraid of buying. There's some people I talk to that say, yeah, I'm going to buy, but I'm going to wait until December, January, or, February. You could do that, honestly, but we also can't say that the prices aren't going to skyrocket because everybody might be doing that, waiting for rates to come down into the 4s, maybe it's going to hit the 3s. So everybody's waiting. And then all the prices, meanwhile, are just getting sky high. So do you want to buy a house, at $500,000 at 7.5% that you can then just refinance later? Or do you want to wait and buy that same house for $600,000 because you got a good interest rate? So I personally would say if you're looking to buy a house, now would be a great time. And if the rates really do come down significantly over the next year, refinance over the next year. The stakes are high on this. Make the wrong move and you might regret it. But if you hold steady and play the long game, your rental property could become one of your most valuable assets. Like I said, even one home could change your life. So that is why I think never selling is probably the smartest choice.